before I start. That's always good. How's everybody doing this morning? Today I'm going to talk about how to build a hurricane survival kit. Give you a few detailed instructions on what you're going to need. So, first question you got to ask yourself is how ready are you? On August 29th, 2005, Katrina came in at 7:10 in the morning. Now, Katrina was one of the most devastating hurricanes that we've had. It was a Category 5 storm with sustained winds over 175 miles an hour. And it caused an estimated $60 billion in damages, with another $65 billion in damages that were believed to have happened because they were uninsured, so they're not sure. There was also over 1,800 people killed. So being ready for a hurricane is very important. Now, the basics. The City of Miami Department of Fire and Rescue recommends that you have some very basic items: water, food, first aid supplies, clothing and bedding, tools, and emergency supplies. And there are some other special items too that we'll include on the list. Now, to start with water, every person is required to have at least 2 quarts of water per day. That's under normal circumstances. Now, when you're stressed or working, sometimes that number can go up. So they recommend that you carry a gallon of water per person per day. So that will be at least 3 days that you could be without water, possibly longer. So they say to keep a 3-day supply of water. And they also suggest to keep some iodine tablets or something like that to purify the water in case your water supply does run out. Food. You want to make sure it includes the following: ready-to-eat canned items, fruits and vegetables, canned juices, high-energy foods, and you want to keep at least a 3-day supply of food as well. And as an alternative to the canned foods, if you can get a hold of them, you can get MREs, which are military rations. You can buy them anywhere online. They're really easy to find. And there's civilian versions as well. First aid supplies. First aid kits need to include quite a few items. You want sterile adhesive bandages, cleansing agents, soaps, latex gloves, sunscreen if you have to work outside, you don't want to get sunburned real bad, gauze pads, non-prescription drugs, and that can include ibuprofen, aspirin, some kind of anti-inflammatory, as well as things to treat, insect bites and things like that. Sterile bandages, scissors, tweezers, antiseptics, thermometers, basically anything you can buy in a big first aid kit like you would hang on the wall at a business or anything like that. You can buy all of that stuff in Academy, all ready to go. Clothing and bedding. You want at least 1 change of clothes per person, and that includes shoes and socks. You don't want to have wet clothes because you can get things like trench foot. Bad things can happen to you. And it's not very comfortable either. And you want to be sure to have blankets or sleeping bags. There are these occurrences that happen in late September where we get a cold front blow through, and with no power, your house could be 30, 40 degrees. You want to have some warm bedding and some warm clothes too. Emergency supplies. Crank or battery operated radio. You want to have a flashlight. They do make those shaped flashlights. You don't have to stock batteries for everything. But if you do have the battery powered ones, be sure you get batteries as well. Utility knife, like a Swiss Army knife. Fire extinguisher, pliers, duct tape, matches in a waterproof container. They even make waterproof matches that basically can't go bad. Aluminum foil. A big one's a shutoff wrench for turning off the utilities at your house. Most people don't have that, but you can buy it at the hardware store. And then of course the batteries. Items you might not think of. A bucket with a tight-fitting lid. Your toilet's not going to flush, so you want a bucket with a nice tight-fitting lid, lined with some trash bags or garbage bags there. You have some place to get rid of that waste. If you got 4 people in a house, that's the last thing you want to be worried about. Soap, toilet paper, it's something to do. You're going to get bored, so you want a deck of cards, a board game, something like that. Another thing you might not think of, which of course, being me, I can't leave out, you have to have a personal protection device or a gun. Plenty of ammunition for the device. It can be big or small, just make sure you know how to use it. And if worse comes to worse, you can always hunt for your own food. Now, I know this seems like a lot, but you only have to do it once. You set this thing up, and it'll be done. Check your kit every year before hurricane season, mid-August. Make sure your batteries are good, all your food's good, nothing's expired. The number one thing you have to remember is be prepared. Now, for my sources, I actually used the Miami government's website. They had a really good lineup of things to use for Hurricane Survival Kit. And the NOAA homepage, it talks a lot about hurricanes and the damages that they cause and things